Now, I want to talk about processing through our feelings and being able to break it up into bite sized pieces. For some of you, having the experience of processing through a feeling might not come naturally, or it can be harder because you learned very, very young that feelings weren't okay. Maybe you were told your feelings weren't okay, or maybe your reality was questioned, or maybe you were feeling something, but you were so heavily masking that you weren't honoring the way that you were feeling. Whatever your reason is for being afraid to feel your feelings or feeling overwhelmed by the idea of a feeling, it's totally okay. Let's talk about it. Okay. Nothing is off the table here. I feel like we really need to come together as a community to lift each other up and support each other, right? It's so beautiful to become unapologetically empowered and authentic. So let's just talk about the first part, be aware. I think what happens normally and naturally is we will have a feeling and we'll end up scrolling social media, or we'll end up going on a walk or going to get a snack, or you name it, doing something else, maybe stimming, right? So just being aware of how we're feeling or that we are having a feeling. And at this point, if you can't name it, that's okay. You don't have to. If you can't feel it in your body, okay. You don't have to. Just being aware that you are having a feeling at this time is the most important thing for you to do, right? And then once you get really practiced at being aware of your feelings, you can start to get curious about them. Maybe you look up online an emotions wheel and you start looking at the different feelings and maybe broaden your vocabulary of the different types of feelings that you are feeling, right? Maybe you get the wheel and you turn it into a pillow, or you put it on your fridge, or you put it on your desk at your office. For me, I work at home. So, I could put it on my desk, but broadening my vocabulary of feelings is really powerful, I think. So then once you have the being aware, you can start to open up. And this is, again, you don't have to name it, you don't have to feel it. It's just being okay and opening up to the fact that it's there, right? So, oh, I'm having a feeling right now. Okay. So, all feelings are normal and natural, and I am human. So, my experience is valid and real, and I will just sit here with it and not judge myself for it, right? And then we want to kind of get a little bit more curious when you're practiced with that and you are feeling good about the fact that you now are aware when you are having a feeling and you can open up to that feeling. Let's get a little bit more curious about it and start asking yourself questions about that feeling, right? The more you ask questions about that feeling and the more you describe the way the feelings are, the less scary they are. It's kind of amazing that way. I, y'all, in life in general, I cannot tell you how many people are afraid to do something because of the way it's going to make them feel. I told you in episode number 1 that I have been wanting to do a podcast for like 2 years now. And 2 years later, I'm finally doing the podcast. Why? I don't know why. I have a YouTube channel. It's not like I don't talk in front of people. I do public speaking all the time. So why in the world was I afraid to launch and produce a podcast? I don't know. I just was. I was afraid of it. I mean, if I ask myself, I didn't know how. Well, you know what I mean? Like I had to learn how to produce the podcast. I had to learn how to get it out there. I didn't know how to get free music to put in the beginning. I was afraid to ask my friend to do a soundbite for, the intro. I didn't know how to put them all together. And most importantly, it's another very vulnerable thing of putting myself out there. And so it took me 2 years, and I had to really manage my mind around it. So asking myself and my body, is it worth it to be afraid? Is being afraid that scary? Right? It's not. Because when you really get down to it, the feelings, the vibrations that we have in our body, they're not going to kill us. And the more we get used to these feelings, the more capable we are. And the beautiful thing is, the more you get used to feeling your feelings and processing through your feelings, when you are doing something that's really scary, like launching and producing a podcast and putting it out there for goodness knows how many people, you can also call upon other feelings that you need to make it happen. Like for me, I just felt determined. And this is another way for me to build more self trust with myself. I promised myself January of 2024, I was going to put this podcast out there. And so following through with myself is self trust. So that dedication and determination override the fear. So while I'm afraid to put out the podcast, I'm also determined to put it out there. So, and then release. Now, for me, this one can be the easiest one because I have been a Reiki master since I was 20 years old. But for some other people, it doesn't come very easy. So, the way I would describe it is it's almost like a camera lens. We'll let wherever the feeling is in your body, let the camera lens open and then ask your body to release whatever part of the feeling it's ready, whatever part of the vibration it's ready to let go of. Your body knows what to do naturally with the right instructions. So just trust that your body will do what it's supposed to do. It's kind of like if you get a paper cut, it might hurt like heck in the beginning, but your body will naturally heal itself. So, the same thing with the feelings. Go ahead and ask your body to release it and trust that your body is going to release it. It will release everything that's no longer serving it and let it go. The last kind of part that I ask to do with that is ask that vibration or that feeling to serve its higher good. That's just me. I like doing that. You don't have to, but definitely breaking up the bore feelings into bite-sized pieces is really good for you. All right, you guys. I hope that I am delivering you the exact thing that you need here and today, and you have found so much value in this. I love you all. Take care. Bye bye.